Carrie here from Healing Humanity, the power of a proper human diet. And today I want to tell you about the carnivore switch. There is a switch that will go off at some point in your carnivore journey. If you're joining me for the first time, my name is Carrie. I've been on the carnivore diet for almost 280 days now, and it's completely changed my life forever. I am down 100 pounds since my heaviest. I lost most of that on carnivore, a little bit doing keto on and off for years before that. In my opinion, it's kind of the same thing. Carnivore is just a more strict version of keto. I don't care about the weight loss. The most important thing that happened to me is I've overcome depression. Horrible clinical depression that I had for over a decade. I was on every antidepressant, SSRI. It's only by the grace of God I am still here today, and I hear that story from so many people. That's the reason I'm doing this documentary, Healing Humanity, is to bring hope to the hopeless. I also had horrible brain fog. Before that, I never could have sat in front of a camera like this and just riffed. You will notice this video and many of my videos, I don't edit them. Carnivores don't need to cut and edit and think of words to say because we don't have that brain fog anymore. And it's just like this subconscious carnivore flow that we get into. So the depression is the biggest reason I'm doing carnivore diet. The brain fog is gone. I was also diagnosed with IBS. I also had sleep apnea and a CPAP machine. All of those things are gone on carnivore. It's amazing. I've heard this story from so many other people as well. A while back, I did a video and it was called The 5 Stages of Carnivore. And those 5 stages, I'll quickly recap. That video really did well and I think it's helping a lot of people out. The first stage of carnivore is the hardest stage, and that is just making the decision that you want to do this. Carnivore sounds completely insane to most people. How am I going to only eat meat? What about vegetables? What about fruit? And the biggest way to get over that, in my opinion, is you have a fear. In order to overcome that fear, you have to do research. And all of this information is out there. All of the fears you have about starting carnivore, maybe it's fiber, maybe it's vitamins, maybe it's nutrition, all of those have been asked and answered, and you have a phone or you have a computer, all that information is online for you. The second stage of carnivore is adaptation, and that is changing your body from burning that junk sugar to burning fat for fuel. What I believe the body is intended to burn as its primary fuel source. Yes, you can survive on sugar. Survive. You can survive on vegetables. I believe vegetables are survival medicines. They're not made to be eaten as food. You can survive on a lot of things, but stage 2 is the adaptation stage when you have to get over those crazy sugar cravings. Sugar is an addictive drug, in my opinion, and a lot of people haven't admitted that yet, and they still try to moderate it, and sugar comes in a countless number of different forms. Stage 2 is adaptation stage, and it's getting into ketosis, and it's changing the fuel that your body is powered by. It's amazing when that happens. Stage 3 is kind of easy sailing. It's when you're doing it. You're doing the carnivore diet. Your weight is starting to come off. Your inflammation is going down. Depression, anxiety, brain fog. You start realizing things are so much better on carnivore. Why? Because it's the proper, natural human diet that your body was intended to eat. No other species on this earth struggles with so much with food, with nutrition, with their diet than humans do. It's only us big-brained humans that are overcomplicating things and eating all of these unnatural, highly processed foods that are causing all sorts of inflammation and downstream effects in our body. Stage 3 is amazing. Some people say to me, how long does stage 3 take? It depends on how much weight you have to lose. It depends on your journey. Stage 4 was one that really shocked me. Stage 4 is when you get down to your goal weight and your body no longer has those fat reserves to burn for fuel. When you're in ketosis, you're burning fat for fuel instead of sugar. And if you have excess body fat, you're burning the fat that you have in your tank. Well, in stage 4, your gas tank kind of empties out and your body kind of goes, oh my goodness, what's going on? I don't have any fuel left. And it's a little bit of a panic and you start to get really, really hungry. Ravenously hungry. You start eating way more food than you ever thought. When that happened for me, it was a big shock. I'm like, I don't know if I can sustain this. Luckily, it didn't last too long. Although I do eat more food now, while I'm in stage 5, which I'll talk about in a second, because I don't have that body fat anymore. So I have to eat a little bit more fat to burn for fuel because I don't have the reserves anymore. Stage 5, that is the maintenance stage. There's some really awesome YouTubers out there. Laura Spath is amazing. She's been in maintenance mode for a while and she really figured it out. And some people screw it up. And in that video, I caution people, you have to be very careful when you get to that maintenance stage because a lot of people make this mistake. I did keto on and off for years. In fact, I did a big video a couple of years ago talking about my keto OMAD diet. And I had a lot of success on that. I've since removed that video because that was not sustainable. I had a lot of success. It touched my depression. It helped with my snoring. It helped with some things. But if you watch a couple months later, I gained all of that weight back because I did all of that. I got down to my goal weight and then my body was ravenously hungry, and doing the keto version that I was doing, eating a bunch of salad and low carb vegetables, I wasn't able to get enough of that fat and I ended up failing, falling off the wagon, gaining all the weight back over and over again. I don't believe that's sustainable. I believe that's a big mistake people make is they get into stage 5 of carnivore, which is maintenance mode, and then they think they should moderate. They think, oh, I've repaired my body now. Now I can go back. I'm just going to have some raspberries or some strawberries or some low carb vegetables. And for some people, like me, you can't moderate that. I cannot moderate it, and slowly I'll start eating more and more and more and more, and then gain all the weight back, and I'm eating the inflammatory foods again, and the sugars and the seed oils, and I'm starting to get the depression back, and the anxiety, and the aches and pains in the elbows and the foot, and the snoring comes back. So those are the 5 stages of carnivore diet, but there's a switch that goes off at a certain point in this journey. So just to quickly recap the 5 stages of carnivore diet, number 1 is making the hardest decision ever to start. Number 2 is the adaptation phase. Number 3 is just you're doing it. You're doing the carnivore diet, you're losing weight, you're seeing benefits. Number 4 is you empty the tanks out. You reach your goal weight, you no longer have body fat to burn, and you get really hungry. And then stage 5 is like the rest of your life, moderation. Maintenance mode, not moderation, maintenance mode. Moderation is the other M word that I don't like. At some point during this, if you do carnivore properly, and I'm not judging anyone because some people have, like Dr. Berry calls it, the carb diet. They can have a little bit of blueberries here, they can have a little bit of this here or that. I'm not one of those people. I have a switch. My switch is on or my switch is off. I can't have any carbs. If I have a little bit of carbs, like just a little bit of raspberries and it's just 4 or 5 carbs, I will go nuts. I cannot moderate because I was addicted to sugar. I think there's some people that think they have a knob, but they haven't experimented like I have over the years of doing keto and falling off the keto diet and failing horribly at the keto diet. I can't tell you what is worse than almost getting down to your goal weight, doing, say, keto and OMAD like I did before, and being at that point where you feel better than you have your whole life. And it was the hardest thing you ever had to do. And you're telling yourself, I'm never going to gain all that weight back. And then 3 months later, you've gained it all back and you're suicidally, hopelessly depressed again. I'm not trying to be dramatic, but that was my case. And that happened for me many, many times. So I don't have a carb dial, I have a carb switch. But that wasn't the purpose of this video. The carb switch I'm talking about is a different switch. And that is, at some point, a switch will go off when you're doing carnivore where you will no longer view food as entertainment, as a temptation, as a pleasure, as a reward center for your brain. There will be a point where that happens. And when it does, everything becomes so much easier. So a lot of people struggle around the holidays. We just had Christmas. I didn't struggle at all. And I'm not patting myself on the back and I'm not shaming people. I'm simply trying to help other people that are like me and they can't moderate. People that struggled through Christmas. One of the reasons I think that happens for a lot of people is because they don't go full on carnivore. There's a lot of people that start carnivore and they're still having Diet Coke, or they're still having berries, or they have a cheat day on the weekend, or they have some avocado, or they have some of this, or they have some of that. And for some people, they have to do it for certain reasons. Everybody's different. But for other people, they just do it because they still have that sugar addiction. They still have that food is pleasure and I want the pleasure, I want the temporary pleasure, so I'm gonna go do it. I think that a lot of people have that because they haven't fully gone carnivore. Maybe they'll cook up some food on their smoker like I do, but they'll put the rub on that they used to do, and that rub has some sugar in it. Well, now there's a little bit of a sugar signal in the body, and you still have that temptation. I look at sugar like alcohol. Like I was a horrible alcoholic for 43 years. I quit alcohol. I wouldn't just dabble in it again. I quit alcohol. It completely fixed my life forever. I wouldn't just, oh, you know, it's just so nice having a little bit of alcohol, so I'm just gonna have a little bit of beer right now. I wouldn't do that. And in the same way I wouldn't do that with alcohol if I was an alcoholic, I'm not gonna do it with sugar. I think some people on carnivore, they don't ever have that switch go off, and it's a big struggle, and it's so much harder for them than it has to be, because the holidays come around and they see the cookies and the pies and the stuff, and they're constantly tempted. They're constantly craving it because they've slowly been allowing that in their diet leading up to that. So I don't know. I think some people are abstainers, and that is me. I'm not saying everyone is. There's some people out there that have a carb dial, and maybe they've been doing this for years and years and way longer than I have, and they're doing just fine. I'm not passing any judgment. I'm simply trying to help other people that are abstainers like me. Dr. Berry talks about the carb dial. Some people can have it on 3, they can have a couple berries, and they're just fine. I don't have a dial. I have a carb switch. I turn carbs off or on, and I think there's some people out there like that. And if you are someone like that, maybe you want to consider having a switch instead of trying to dial it in and trying to have a little bit of berries here or there, having the diet soda, or having some of these artificial sweeteners that are triggering that addiction and making this so much harder for you, like when the holidays come around. So I hope that helps some people out there. I am so thankful. I'm so grateful. I'm so blessed for every one of you watching this, but for the good doctors out there sharing their stories, and for people that are sharing the truth, people that are practicing what they're preaching. You know who I'm talking to out there. There's people out there that are faking it till they make it, and then there's people that are actually doing this and they're practicing what they're preaching. I can tell you this, if you're watching my YouTube channel, I'm practicing what I preach. If I fall off the wagon and I cheat on carnivore and something comes up, I will tell you the truth and I will share those things with you. But carnivore has truly changed my life forever because of the depression and anxiety, the hopelessness that I went through for years and years has reversed on carnivore diet. And I've heard that story from so many other people. I did a video about depression a while back, and a bunch of people sent me in their testimonials, and they were all so similar. Very quickly, by eating the proper human diet, things balanced out, and depression, anxiety went away forever when years and years of going on pills did nothing for them. That was my story, and that's the reason I'm doing this documentary, Healing Humanity. There's millions of people out there suffering from depression, and it's only getting worse. Suffering from PTSD, suffering from anxiety, a myriad of different mental health issues people are suffering from, and it's just going up and up and up, and it doesn't have to be that way. So that's my purpose in life. That's my mission. That's my goal. That's what brings me happiness and joy, is being able to share that with other people. I'm going to continue doing that. We're doing it with the Healing Humanity documentary. We hope to reach millions of people with that. And so I thank you all. I'm so grateful, thankful, and blessed. Please leave a comment down below. Do you have a carb dial or do you have a carb switch? And thank you so much for watching this. I really, truly appreciate it.